Peace. What's up? This is Jarrell with Karma Consciousness. Today I want to talk about karma. Alright? How you guys doing out there? I wish you well. Hope you're having a great day. Okay? Life is good. The sun is shining. We're out here. Alright? We out here. Alright? We're doing it. Alright? We're making the ascension. We're making the shift. Everything's good. Everything's going to be awesome. It's peaceful. Unconditional love all the way around. Okay? Today I want to talk about how karma is actually bullshit. Okay? This has been something that has been coming up for me like over and over again past couple weeks, past couple days, and I've been processing it in my own awareness, and I've just been seeing the different types of patterns that have been going on in the collective about how you should watch what you say, how you should watch what you do, how you should watch how you treat others, how you should watch what is going on, and how to think and how not to think. Okay? Karma is actually a dogma. It's actually a dogma targeted towards people who do not have the capacity to think for themselves. They do not have the capacity to read energy. They do not have the capacity to read emotions. Okay? Karma is something that is used to control others. Alright? What people say is, oh, don't let this happen to you. Oh, don't let these things happen to you. Don't do this or else it'll come back to you. Don't talk about this person this way. Don't point out the obvious or else you'll see the obvious happening in your life exactly how you saw it happening to somebody else. Alright? It's pretty much saying, oh, don't look at these people doing these things that's blatantly wrong or else it'll happen to you too. Alright? So it's like, don't point out the clown when the clown's doing nefarious shit in front of everybody. Because you don't want the clown to come and do some shit to you in your life. That's pretty much what karma is. It's a mechanism set up in the subconscious of the collective to control their minds. Alright? That's what it is. That's what I want to talk about. Okay? Because you see a lot of that in religion. You see a lot of that in politics. You see a lot of that in even the spiritual communities. Alright? You see that in relationships, personal life, friendships, family life. Alright? The things that are important to us is where karma tries to hit you. Alright? Now, what is karma like? What is it defined as? A connection that you have with something or somebody, either from a past life, either from a present circumstance, some type of relationship, or any type of dealing you have with any type of group of people, situation, or happening in your day-to-day life. It's an energy exchange, and it's an energy mutual agreement. Okay? That's pretty much what it is. It can be positive or it can be negative. Okay? However, karma actually tends to be negative because it's always something that you have to pay off, or it's something that comes back onto you, or it's something that ends up being a liability for something that you did that you have to pay forward from the past. Okay? So the most obvious thing going on with karma today, of course, are these shots going around with these people, pressuring people to get something inoculated into their body that's going to screw up their DNA, alright, with a genetic alteration down to the molecular structure of your actual makeup of your physical body. And why would you do this if you actually know what's actually in these things? Alright, this is called social pressure towards others based off a perception of karma. Oh, you don't want your friends and family members to pay for the bad things that may happen to them if you don't do what we recommend you to do. Alright, that's pretty much a negative projection, forward progression of karma. It isn't positive. Okay? Now, what is karma actually? What are the more played upon and directly practiced forms of karma? So the forms of karma utilized usually happens when a person refuses to look in the mirror, when the person refuses to stop what they're doing and look at what they are doing. So it's kind of like a play that somebody uses off somebody else when they don't want to see the type of programming that they're actually running in their own awareness, when they see that they're utilizing something that is usually detrimental to them, usually a belief system that's detrimental to them, and they push it onto somebody else. And by saying, oh, if you don't do this, everything's going to be worse. Which in reality They're actually too lazy to actually see what's wrong with them. They're actually too lazy to actually look inside their own awareness, and they continue to get their little dopamine kick by staying in their little realm of delusion. That's exactly what karma is. That's how it gets perpetuated, by people not actually looking at the realism of the facts, of their own energy, of their own emotions, of the frequency resonance. To be able to read the vibration of the situation, that person needs to make a choice to either kick that karmic habit or stop moving it towards somebody else, or else in their own self-proclaimed karma. So ways to get out of this, they're simple. You kind of just set your boundaries. You say, hey, no, like, that's not for me. Like, that's not something that I'm cool with. That's not something that I'm okay with. That's not something that is rational. That's not something that is even remotely logical. When you see these things, and when you see people acting in ridiculous ways and saying, oh, you better not do this, oh, you better not say that, oh, the Sandman's going to show up, the Boogeyman's going to show up, this stuff is going to happen to you if you say these things, if you use common logic, use common sense, and actually logically deduce yourself out of a terrible, energetically malicious and harmful situation. Oh, the rest of us are going to get hurt if you do that. It's like, no, you have to, like, you actually use your mind. Like, you're actually a piece of God manifested here on the physical plane. And when you begin to actually deduce the logic and the frequencies that are around you, you can actually become more of that. You can actually see through the veil. You see through the lies, you see through the bullshit, you see through the manipulation, and you begin to resonate more and more as who you truly are. And that's what's most important. All right? So always stay in your heart. Always listen to your heart, listen to your soul, listen to your intuition. They're never going to guide you astray. Okay? So when you see obvious wrongdoing in the world, when you see these wrong things, it's very easy to just say something. It can be very easy. The main thing is not to have fear, not to be afraid, because when you're afraid, that's the frequency that karma uses to actually shut you up. It's like, oh, well, you're afraid to say something because you think it's going to happen to yourself. Therefore, you have it in your system. Therefore, you are that. So if you are that, why are you talking about yourself? That's literally what karma is. That's literally how people get fucked up and they get twisted up, delusion, their minds get twisted, and they end up sick and not understanding how to actually read their way out and get out of duality. It's like, people have to understand that the world is under an artificial simulation, all right? And when you see the simulation for what it is, you begin to see what's actually real and what is actually a lie. Because to me, it's quite evident that the world isn't a simulation, right? What is fake is actually simulating the people, okay? And it's what the people actually agree to believe. Like, everybody agrees to believe that money is real. So we have to use these numbers made up on computer screens to control every aspect of our life. What we do, what we think, what we say, how we act, the things that we are forced to show up to every single day of our lives. You know, we have to pay permission to eat, pay permission to sleep in a clean bed, pay permission to drink water, everything, right? It's all based off of karma. If you're too afraid to say what is actually logical, then you end up in that frequency. And when you're afraid, it got you. It literally gets you like a paradox. That's literally what it is, okay? And the reason why I'm able to speak so clearly and show you these things is because I do not carry that frequency within me, all right? When you can see clearly, we can actually see frequencies, when you can see energy, when you can see actual emotions of others around you without judgment from a pure objective state, then you're free. You're actually free from the inside out. There's nothing anybody can say to you. There's nothing anybody can do to guilt you. There's nothing anybody can do to accuse you, no matter how strong the frequency is. It's like, no, you're not going to guilt me for eating food for a planet I was born on. It's not going to happen. Oh, you don't do this. Oh, you don't do that. Oh, you did this. Oh, look what's happening. You're making your friends and family do this. It's like, no, I'm not. I was born here. I didn't make the rules here. I didn't set up a fucking slave simulation system to where people have to pay permission to exist. I didn't do that. All right. I didn't set up a fake healthcare system where people have to actually inoculate themselves to not feel bad about somebody else not having it or having it. I didn't do that, and that's not me. I don't have that frequency in my system, so that clown shit can go somewhere else. Like, that's exactly what it is. All right. And I'm just keeping it real. That's exactly what it is. When you see fear for what it is, you see how absurd it is. It's like once somebody sees somebody that isn't as self-destructive as them or self-depreciating as them, they're like, hey, where's your self-depreciation? What are you doing? I'm like, I don't have that. All right, go to fuck somewhere else with that. All right. So, I mean, it's like exactly what you're going to run into. That's exactly what you're going to see. That's exactly what happens in the world, all right? I mean, people, they get their dopamine fix off of accusing others, blaming, criticizing, everything, especially in corporate America, all right? Once somebody sees somebody doing something that's better than them, or they see something that trigger or they take offense to, all they do is try to, I call it the ABCs of corporate America: accuse, blame, criticize, all right? And then next thing you know, they're getting somebody fired. It's because they're toddlers. Like, people are toddlers. Like, they're adult people, yet they're completely emotionally 4, 5, 6 years old in 50-year-old bodies. Like, you have to actually look at these things and look how these people are acting, because there's a third dimensional grown-up and then there's a spiritual grown-up, and it's possible to be both, and it's possible to be one or the other. All right. And just use logic, just use your eyes to see, your intuition, your soul intelligence with your heart, and you'll start to see these things. And it's like breaking out of illusion, breaking out of the matrix, breaking through the veil. All right, except this is a different type of veil. This is a frequency veil. All right, when you see the veil for what it is, it goes a lot further than you actually thought. All right, there's many types of frequencies that you have to process your way through. I'm here to help you. I'm your guide. Hello, nice to meet you. And just pay attention in your lives where you may have some type of karmic issue. All right, maybe you have friends who like to guilt you. It's usually based off guilt. That's 100% like the biggest thing. All right, of course, with religion, it's like, oh, if you don't do this thing, you're going to get put into a fiery hellhole for what I'm going to do to you if you don't praise me. Like, it's literally like exactly that. It's actually like a fear of God, or a fear of a lowercase g God. That's exactly what karma is. A fear of somebody else's delusional, looped up, negative knot of a reality. It's like you're in a delusion, you're in a circus, you're in a clown show. It's actually like, I've seen like the actual thought form of karma, and what it is it's a clown. It's a giant clown that literally tries to sit over your energy field and play you like a little circus instrument. That's exactly what it is. Like, from the astral perspective, that's exactly what it is. Okay? So when it's like, oh yeah, karma's a bitch, karma's gonna get you in the end, and there's always people who always end up getting the same stuff that they're dishing out because they can't see what they're doing, and they end up bringing it back onto themselves because they treat themselves that low to begin with. However, that's okay. That's okay to see that for them. And when you see stuff eventually about to come back onto somebody else for their own resonance, you can call that karma, but it actually isn't. It's actually just what they're doing and the repercussions of their actions. Because there's only so far you can get by treating somebody actually negative and not, saying, oh, it's all one, we're all one, so you better not say this about your neighbor, or you better not say this about somebody you know, or you better not point out the obvious about what somebody's doing, or else it'll happen to you. Like, no, it's actually, if you're actually treating somebody bad, that actually eventually comes back to you. It's not some type of scary shit where it's like, ridiculous and it's overdrawn, and then you're run by fear because people are too afraid to actually speak their truth and use their voice and actually become an individual for themselves. Okay, so with these things, with these government agencies, you know, pushing like false, like, you know, medications on the people, they're eventually going to get that back to them, and everything else is going to crumble onto them. And you keep going when you find these keys, when you find these critical points to actually be like, oh, okay, so that's why I wake up every morning, and then all of a sudden it's just guilt for nothing before you even have a thought. It's just like guilt, like you know, it's like you know, it's just like ridiculous. So I mean, just look at the facts, look at what is true to you, and then what comes through will actually help you. Just go with the flow, and then everything else will actually turn out correct for you. Okay, so peace and love. If you guys would like a session, I do sessions at quantumlight.org. I don't do healing anymore. I do intuitive coaching, light code attunement, custom art, numerology readings, and I also have gear up on the website, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, and my new t-shirt company, Empath League, empathgear.com. Check it out. My new t-shirt, highly telepathic, hard to kill. All right. So I mean, it's self-explanatory. So check those out. 10% off your order, free shipping for the first order. All right. Take care of yourselves. Talk to you soon. Peace.